Fort Meade sounded like a sanctuary as Lana dodged pockets of traffic in Bethesda before jumping on the Beltway. She found relatively few cars on the famed thoroughfare, but the warning light for her gas tank came on. A single expletive slipped past her lips. Even in a Prius, that red light was unnerving. It sent stress straight to her shoulder blades, where she carried it like a Sherpa. She hadn't seen a single open gas station. She also knew that if she found one, the line would be so long that she'd end up having to push the Prius to the pump. She thought she had enough range to make it to the Army base, barring the unforeseen, though the morning was filling with the unexpected. Far more important, in the next few minutes, she spotted commercial airliners heading toward both Reagan International and BWI, the Baltimore airport, which meant that if this was indeed a cyber attack, the aggressors had spared civilian airlines. Those big jets were fatally dependent on the internet for information vital to safe flight. Their presence in the skies suggested that the attackers had a base level of civility and were not completely insane, though colliding trains and horrific fires proved hollow consolation. While airliners were landing, only fighter jets were taking off. Kinetic war is not going to help, she said to herself as an F-15 streaked across the skyline. Kinetic was a designation that cybersecurity experts used for traditional warfare. With great relief, she pulled up to Fort Meade's broad entrance, knowing that she would at least make it to the NSA. The guard stations resembled a big drive-through bank with a series of slots for mobile customers. The 9/11 sharpened procedures at the massive base were thorough but efficient, and within minutes she drove toward the arena-sized parking lot that surrounded 3 sides of the agency's enormous black building, one of more than 50 structures that made up the intelligence complex. All of it was secured by heavily armed guards, electrical fences, anti-tank barriers, and a full panoply of security cameras and motion detectors. That was what you could see. Copper hidden inside the walls and one-way windows kept electromagnetic signals from the prying eyes and instruments of the outside world. A white structure that resembled a tray cake sat atop the largest building, the one to which Lana was headed. She gave thought to throwing on her skirt and top in the car, but as soon as she shut off the Prius, the unrelenting summer heat started baking her. The moment she entered NSA headquarters, security staff escorted her up to Deputy Director Robert Holmes's office. His stout assistant, Donna Warnes, greeted her with a welcoming smile, an unspoken acknowledgement of Lana's key role in vacuuming up a particularly nasty bug that had attacked the agency's counterintelligence files 3 months ago. The bug wasn't the only thing that had been nasty. She'd had to butt heads with several in-house forensic stars to get the job done. Territorial disputes in the cybersphere. But she'd prevailed and had received a commendation from Holmes himself. Donna led Lana into her boss's large conference room, where he'd gathered 5 members of his top team at the end of a long table. Lana wasn't the only one in mufti. Ronald Wilkes, who oversaw much of the agency's liaison with congressional intelligence committees, was still in his tennis whites, which matched the color of his hair. His blue eyes were all over her, moving from the blood on her long legs to the dabs on her cheeks, making the most of any excuse to gaze at her. He'd told her several times that he thought she was beautiful, loved her jet black hair, great cheekbones, bee-stung lips. Lana considered it fortunate for the country that his work for NSA was more creative than his comments about her body. Holmes, always the old-school gentleman, gave no obvious notice of Lana's gritty appearance. Unlike so many power brokers in Washington, the deputy director assumed the best about the people he surrounded himself with. If Lana Elkins had smoke smudges on her arms and blood on her leg and face, then she had her reasons. He confirmed his confidence in her in the next few seconds with an offhand acknowledgement of her unusual condition.
I think our trusted consultant here has already been fighting the good fight. Donna, please bring her water, coffee, and a damp cloth.
It was bad out in Cressinger, Lana said. She explained what had happened to the Amtrak and freight train.
We heard about that, Holmes said. Rail switches and signals have stopped working everywhere.
Do you know if the fire has spread into Cressinger? I'm worried about my daughter.
No, but an ammonia tanker exploded, and they're trying to evacuate everyone within about a mile of the track, Holmes replied.